Right, you're welcome back. It's TVC Breakfast, Wednesday morning edition. Now, today makes it to the second day since the National Executive Council of Academic Staff Union of Universities directed its members nationwide to embark on an indefinite strike.
Now, the academic activities are still ongoing at the University of Abuja. A day after a reporter who visited the University of Abuja on Tuesday says students and lecturers went about their normal activities at both campuses of the school.
Academic Staff Union of Universities formally kicked off a nationwide strike following the outcome of its NEC meeting over the week. The body said the strike became necessary as both federal and state governments had failed to implement the provisions of the agreements reached with the union. According to the union, there shall be no teaching, no examinations, and no attendance of statutory meetings of any kind in any of their branches during the period of the strike.
The problem of EAA has become a sore thumb, adversely affecting morale and productivity on our campuses. EAA is a major aspect of the 2009 FGN Asuu agreement and a key issue in the strike action and consequent MOU of 2013.
In addressing the problems of development in the country, you must give adequate attention to education. And we have not seen that in a number of years. For instance, the allocation to education 2016-2017 is no more than 7% of the total budget of the country.
A visit to the University of Abuja shows the school chapter is yet to comply with the directive as students and lecturers were seen going about their normal duties. According to the chairman of the union, Abuja chapter, the union will be joining the strike after its Congress meeting on Wednesday. Students who are always at the receiving ends of strike actions are already full of dread as it will interfere with their second semester examination, which will soon commence.
Tomorrow, our Congress is already slated. By tomorrow, we'll be meeting. Arising from that Congress, we shall domesticate the strike as directed by NEC. We have no option. It's a directive, and no branch can flout it.
This Asuu of a thing is causing, like, should I say, hindrance for we that we want to write exam. And we have our exam that will just few days. So going home now, sitting home is not best for students, you know. Students preparing for exam and other things, we are ready to write the exam. But giving us this kind of thing now, we need to go back home, and sitting home, that doesn't refresh our memory, make us to lose things that our lecturer gives to us in class.
Meanwhile, renegotiation of the 2009 agreement of the federal government and Asuu is ongoing with the federal government team led by Wale Babalaki.
Okay, now joining us in the studio is the chairman of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, UNILAG. That's University of Lagos chapter, Dr. Adelaja Odukoya. Good morning and thanks for joining us. Yeah. Yes, it's day 3, or is it even day 4 that this strike has started. Well, this government, in trying to resolve this long-standing issue that's been on for since 2009, the agreement and of course the MOU signed by the previous government, set up the Wale Babalaki committee to look into some of the grievances of Asuu. But what we're hearing now is that Asuu doesn't even trust the Babalaki committee to resolve these issues. What exactly is going on?
Yeah, there is a mix-up already. The Wale Babalaki negotiation team is a different cup of tea entirely.
Okay.
The committee is to renegotiate. The 2009 agreement is supposed to be renegotiated since 2012. Already, we're in 2017. So what they have just put in place is a committee for renegotiation. So that has nothing to do. We are even saying the agreement itself that is overdue for renegotiation has not even been fulfilled. So we are having fundamental issues from that agreement that has not even been taken care of. So that committee is doing its work. It's renegotiating. But you can see the paradox. We are renegotiating an agreement that has not even been complied with by even the federal government. So it's a very complex situation, and so unfortunate it's happening.
Okay, we'll certainly dwell more on this. Now let's get into some other areas so you can understand what these whole issues are. Here are some of the contentious issues between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities, Asuu. Now, the breach of contract on financing of state universities, breach of contract on conditions of service, failure to implement the needs assessment report. These are some of the issues amongst others.
Yes, including also poor conditions of service, inadequate funding, university autonomy and academic freedom, non-payment of earned academic allowances, non-payment of 880 billion naira intervention fund, payment of fractions, non-payment of salaries, failure to meet agreed 26% annual budget for the education sector.
Now, non-release of operational license of NUPEMCO, that's the Nigerian Universities Pension Management Company, and the non-implementation of the 2014 Pensions Reform Act with respect to retired professors and their salaries, removal of the university staff schools from funding by government, and non-payment of funds for the revitalization of the university system amounting to 1.3 trillion naira in 6 years based on yearly release of 220 billion naira.
Yes, indeed. But since then, only 90 billion naira has been released. Now, the federal government reneging on payment of outstanding balance of the earned academic allowances amounting to 92 billion naira. Let's see if we can itemize some of these demands and how realistic really is it that government can actually meet these demands. What would be the low-hanging fruits for you that can get Asuu back to school so that the students don't suffer?
Let me start by saying that the government has shown so much insincerity. The government has shown that it could not be trusted. The government has taken for granted our patriotism and our commitment to our duties. Because like you have actually said, this has been outstanding since 2009. 2013, we were on strike, and that led to a memorandum of understanding. 2016 November, we had a one-week warning strike. The Senate intervened, and there was we had promises about this thing. Since that time, we have met with officials of this government informally. We have written 5 different letters at different times to this government.
Yes, we do understand that.
I'm just trying to
question,
make a
yes,
position.
I do understand. Okay.
What I'm saying, therefore, is that we have gone beyond
these
the position of tokenism, where, because what you say is that what is the minimum condition for us? So that's why I have to go historical. Okay. We've gone beyond. This government cannot be trusted, and it will interest you that at least 2 principal officers or 3 principal officers of this government were involved one way or the other on the previous struggle. The Minister for Education, as a journalist, voted in support of Asuu as a journalist. The Minister for Health and the NUC Executive Secretary were VC as at that time, and they were part of the team that brokered peace. So if they are in government, and the APC as a government too was resolutely against the other government for not implementing agreement. So if they could not do it, now that they are in government, so they are not sincere. We are insisting that what you have even elaborated more than what we have done. We have picked out about 6 major issues for which we said they must actually fulfill those conditions before we go back to classes, because this government cannot be trusted.
Okay, now from the report from the federal government is saying that Asuu didn't even follow due process before going on the strike. A letter was sent to the minister a day before, on the 13th, and then they're going on strike on the 14th.
It will interest you to note that I've just told you we've written 5 different letters to this government between December last year and now on the need to fulfill the agreement. And our last strike was merely suspended based on promise. You understand? When we suspend strike, we can reactivate it, and that's what we have done.
Now, many people
maybe importantly too,
yes,
when a government cannot abide by its own agreements, where's the moral authority of that government to be saying somebody has not gone through due process? A government that make a promise and cannot fulfill it, a government that does not follow rule of law, and sermonizing about people following due process. Have they followed due process by disregarding an agreement entered to?
All right. Now, in all of these agreements and memorandum of understanding and all of that, are there time frames fixed to some of these things to know that between now and this time, this should be done and all of that?
Interesting. Let's go back to even the very last intervention. We were promised that, you know what, your earned academic allowance, for instance, we need to do forensic audits. And that will take us 6 months. At the end of 6 months, you said to you, that was December last year. 6 months expired.
Ended in June.
June. This is August. And somebody is saying we're not following due process. You see, they could not be trusted.
Okay, well, Asuu insists that this particular strike is to secure a better future for university system in the country and, of course, the overall education development. There are people who are asking, on the other hand, look, this strike that you have been embarking on, so many of them for the 18th time, have not delivered or achieved the results that you hope to achieve.
That's not true.
Is it possible that ASU can begin to look in other directions, in other ways that it can actually resolve
we are open
this
to, we are open
and
to
get government to actually...
We are open to suggestions.
You are?
Yeah, we are open to suggestions. People have raised this over and over again.
Yes.
And what's the suggestion? Go and meet traditional rulers to intervene. Go and meet this and things like that. And it is not right. Go to our university. We can proudly tell you some of the achievements, some of the benefits that have accrued to the university system based on the 2013 struggle of our union. One, there is no university in this country. I just mentioned that they released some token amount the other time that has gotten less than maybe 2 billion. And it has gone a long way to change the faces of our university. And this is a product of what we call the need assessment report. We said our universities are gradually turning to Gulliver Secondary School. The government said no. The government was forced to set up a panel to govern the universities. And they discovered we're right. We have places where laboratories, they are using stoves. And several things that we should not even be saying in the interest of our system. So ultimately, the University of Lagos, for instance, as a function of that struggle, got 5.6 billion, and it has changed a lot. Some of our lab, those things that are not available in our labs now, in a way they are available. Go and see the Faculty of Arts building, go and see renovation in hostels, go and see certain renovations in classrooms, go and see our libraries. And as I'm talking to you, University of Lagos is putting up an 8-story library all from that resources. So if ASU have not struggled, if we have not asked for that, it wouldn't have been. And that is part of the promise. He has just said, the money, that if they have released the 1.3 trillion now, our university will have changed and become globally competitive.
All right.
So we are proud of what we have done. I will continue to do it because we are the conscience of the society and we are the conscience and a primary stakeholder in the Nigerian education system.
Dr. Adekoya, there are also reports, there are also reports that there's high level of corruption within the university system where monies also are not accounted for, and it makes the government also not to trust the university system. What do you say about that? In that
case, can we trust government itself? The chessboard of corruption is governments. We, as a union, we are not averse to prosecution. And as a matter of fact, it is this government we need to talk to. We have a case against officials of the University of Ilorin. We have submitted a case against the JAMB executive director. Cases of corruption, nepotism, and things like that. It's with the EFCC. What have they done? So you can't accuse our union of not assisting in prosecuting corruption. We have a minister in this government that our union, since about 2 years ago, says is the basis of his professorship is fraudulent. That same person, despite the fact that we have been shouting with is in the public domain, that same person has been made a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Are you talking about Adamu, the minister of...
No.
Okay.
O'Shea, one of these recent ministers, I think from Benue or something like that. It's in the public domain. So, for us as a union, we are for transparency, accountability within the university system. So, and it is not our duty to prosecute. It's our duty to, as a union, we expose. So, if they don't do the needful, And we are, any vice chancellor, any administrator within the university system that is corrupt should be prosecuted. We are for that. Because all this money, we struggle for it. We as a union don't administer it.
Mm-hmm. But how will all of this crisis really help the students and the entire university system that you say that you're there to actually protect? And you have, you know, listed some of the achievements with the University of Lagos, for example. But UNILAG, in spite of these achievements, is still part of this action by Asuu.
Oh, yes, because what we have gotten so far is mere tokenism. The problem in the university system, that was why even the government agreed that every year they will release 200 billion. And in the last 6 years, they have not. The implication of that is that we are going back to where we were. If not worse, that's the implication. And coming back to what you said about the students, I like saying this with such sense of responsibility, that we as lecturers, we are parents. That we as students within the same university, I have two of my children in the University of Lagos. So we are not, but we are concerned about the kind of education they get. Education is not just about the certificate. It's about the quality. When we talk about education, we are talking about the values, we are talking about the substance.
But it's Asuu itself looking at the quality of the teaching staff. You cannot give what you don't have. And there are complaints that even the quality of the university staff itself, the teaching staff, has dropped somewhat. What is responsible for that?
There's no way it won't drop. Because in the first place, several people that are in the university system as lecturer has no business in the business. Because it is the only job in town. And again, it's garbage in, garbage out. These are people that have been produced by a system that we are complaining about. So, and we are saying, we as lecturers are not satisfied with this. We meet with our colleagues globally. Our university should be globally competitive. In the 70s, in the 80s, we compete favorably with any other university in the world. What has happened? That's what we're complaining about. So if we're not bothered about that, we will not be complaining. And that's why we are saying, come, fund the universities adequately, do the needful, equip the university, train the lecturers, make everything available so that we can produce. You are asking somebody to produce, and you're not giving the tools. I've just told you, and I can send you the way of soft copy. You should hear it. You will see laboratories where people are using stoves. You will see mechanical workshop in first generation, second generation university being conducted under trees in the same distance.
Okay. Now, there are some universities that are not complying with this strike. Bafemi Awolowo University, University of Jos, and maybe a few others. Why is that? Let me say.
Okay, let me start. There are two different things. Okay. Like you have just shown Abuja, Jos. We have a procedure for our strike. And that is the unique thing about our union. It is not an authoritarian union, and that's why our strikes are successful. First thing is that the first is for the national to declare the strike after we have gone through referendum, we have collated and things like that. That was done on Monday. Every other university has within 3 days. Today is Wednesday. By the end of today, we are supposed to have called our congresses. It is only after our congresses that the strike will become activated in the respective branches. So I can assure you that University of Jos, by the end of today, will join and several other universities. Talking about University of Ife, talking about Ilorin, those for us are university in crisis. And when they are in crisis, that means maybe we have fractionalization and things like that. For those universities, we are not too bothered because they are minute. They are university in crisis. And maybe I can equally tell you, sometimes you might equally see maybe some of these universities that are still not full-fledged members of Asuu. If they are not, you think they are not part of the struggle, it's a different ballgame. So that's what is going on.
Well, the whole essence of this discussion really, because we've been here several times over and over again, sometimes 3 times in a year, Asuu is going on strike, and we're trying to find out what is the way forward. Can you realistically say that government alone can fund the university system or even the education system? Is there a way that Asuu is engaging maybe private individuals or organizations to actually give back to the system that gave them so much, whether it's UNILAG or Bafemi Awolowo and the rest of them? There are people in the system that you can attract to begin to lay something aside for the education sector. Don't you think that's a possibility?
There's nowhere the alumni association is not actually making contributions. Go to universities like Ogun State, Olabisi Onabanjo University. Private individuals have more structures within that institution than even the Ogun State government that keep on maturing universities. State governments have turned university to constituency projects. Ogun State government that cannot fund a single university is establishing a third one. Ondo State University is about establishing a fourth one. This is arrant nonsense. So that's number one. Number two, the private sector through the test fund, which is a product of Asuu, is equally contributing, is it 2% every year to fund education.
It's still not enough.
No, it is. How is it being managed? There's so much wastage within the system. You see, even in capitalist America, Norway, and all other, Canada, government funds education. And we have the resources to do it. What is the problem is the greed and corruption of our governance, in governance. In Nigeria, officials don't just steal. Stealing has become official. And if you don't curb that, so good governance, transparency, and commitment, and the synergy to link education with development is very germane to actually making sure that education is rightly funded and this strike comes to an end.
All right, Dr. Adelaja Odukoya, Chairman Asuu University of Lagos chapter. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure to be here.
All right, let's go on a break and we'll come back to dwell on our next topic of the day.